Okay, so a common talking point you'll hear is the phrase, the American immigration system is broken. And to many Americans who don't really think or who aren't really aware of stuff, they'll hear that and they'll think, like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the American healthcare system is broken, the American education system is broken. It makes sense for the for the American immigration system to be broken, but that's not the case. Those who say that, they say it because they know that Americans are fed up with the education system and the healthcare system, how, college isn't socialized and how healthcare isn't socialized as it is in everywhere else on earth. And so those who say that the immigration system is broken, they say it knowing that they do it very clandestinely. They do it very subversively. They know that Americans will hear that and repeat it, or they'll hear it and they'll nod in agreement without really thinking about what it is they mean. So when people who say the U.S. immigration system is broken, what they mean is that U.S. immigration law is too strict. It doesn't allow enough people to come into America. That's what they mean. Um, because I did not know this until a month ago, but the only way to become a U.S. citizen is there's three ways. Well, there's four ways. You're either born in America you're born in America, and of course, the birthright citizenship thing is a complete exploit that should have been patched long ago. No other country on earth has birthright citizenship. That's absurd. But so to be an American citizen, you're either born on U.S. soil, and how you prove you were born on U.S. soil is beyond me. Because let's say you're in fucking Juarez and you just jump across the fence to give birth in El Paso, but there's no record of you ever giving birth or of you ever being born in El Paso. So like, are you an American citizen? Like, that's a good fucking question. That's a good fucking question. So, but anyways, that's and that comes back to why we need to get rid of birthright citizenship, because it's so vague. It's not, you can't apply that to everyone. You What is applicable is, were your parents citizens? That's something you can prove. It's easier to prove who your parents are than where you were born. But anyways, that's besides the point. The next way to become an American citizen is you have to um, be an immediate relative of an already existing American citizen, meaning like meaning parents were siblings or sons and daughter, whatever. And that's the most common way for fucking, the endless Guatemalan gene pool to make their way up here is the the birthright or the both the birthright citizenship, but also the sponsorship system where they'll give birth. You know how anchor babies work. They have their kid in America. Of course, they have like four other kids that were born in Guatemala. So they do this knowing damn well that they're breaking the law, but that they're also severely risking having their family be separated. They know damn well that their kids who were not born in America will not be allowed to stay in America. Yet they still do it anyways. They don't give a fuck. They just breed infinitely like Irish pigs in the fucking 1920s. Okay. Um. Anyways, then so those are two ways. The next way is like H1B, like come here for work, and that one is dubious as fuck, because how do you prove, if you're a company, how do you prove that there's no one else in America that can fill that role than other than some fucking Indian in New Delhi who just got done like throwing cow shit at another Indian for some fucking stupid Indian holiday? You can't prove it, bro, because the H1B visa program, that's literally designed so that these tech companies can get away with paying like basically lower labor costs. That's the only reason H1B exists. It's not because there's better talent in India. They just want to They just want to fucking pay people less so they can have more money for themselves and expand their business. It's capitalism. That's just typical capitalism. And the next way is you have to flee asylum, and that again is another one of the biggest methods for the runners who are trying to do the born in fucking Guatemala come to America speed run any percentage. They do it by claiming asylum. And it's funny, the thing about asylum is if you're in South America, like okay, if you're in Mexico and you're coming to the US to flee asylum, that makes somewhat more sense because America's right next to Mexico. But if you're from fucking, and this is often the point, um, if you're from like Honduras and you go through Guatemala and Mexico, you go through two whole countries to make your way to America. Nah, bro, you're not really fleeing asylum. You're an economic migrant. Obviously, who the fuck wouldn't want to live in America? They do because America, you make a lot more fucking money here than you do down there, and that's literally the only reason they want to come here. Because yeah, we got fucking Disney World, we got fucking Hollywood, we got New York City, we got the whole nine yards. We got everything, bro, and they want a piece of that. So they'll come here and they'll claim asylum. But the thing is, um, with border patrol, like if you're an illegal immigrant and you get caught by the border patrol, obviously you're gonna say like, "Oh, I'm claiming asylum." You're obviously gonna fucking say that because you got caught. That's it. Do you think asylum claimers, those from South America and wherever the fuck they come from, do you think they want to claim asylum? No, they only do so for two reasons. One, they got caught and that's all they can say, or two is they don't want to risk getting deported because claiming asylum gives you at least some sense of safety. But dude, the system is, yeah, okay, circling back to what I said in the beginning of the video about the immigration system being broken, it is broken because you shouldn't just be able to come here and claim asylum and expect to just, because the way it works is if you immigrate here and claim asylum, you have a court date and you're released into the country and you're expected to make that court date, which of course, what fucking incentive would you have to show up to court? Why would you do that? Like, because I think half of all asylum claims are denied. But like if you're claiming asylum and you're not and you know that you're not your claim is weak because you're really just fleeing poverty and gang violence. Why the fuck? What incentive would you have to show up to court and risk getting deported? You can just avoid that shit and stay in the country and keep earning US dollars, you know? So yeah, that is broken. We should asylum should be we should if you claim asylum, you should be stuck in a camp until your fucking court day. Um because like it's stupid. America's just too fucking vast. You can easily just disappear, never be heard from again, And that's disgusting. That shouldn't be the case. But anyways, so yeah, those are the ways to become an American citizen. And I was watching this TED Talk video about this fucking immigrant advocate, and she is obviously dishonest. She's obviously biased. She obviously has skin in the game. She's not an objective observer making comments about the immigration process. She herself is the daughter of immigrants, and she obviously has a dog in the fight regarding the immigration issue. But she was talking about how this one dude, who's like a well-known journalist, named Jose Vargas something. He's from the Philippines and he came here when he was 12. And I feel bad for him. His story's kind of sad how he didn't realize he was an illegal alien. He thought, oh, whoopee-doo, I'm here. That's cool. And he tried to get a driver's license at 16, and that's when he found out, like, no, I'm an illegal alien. I'm not supposed to be in this country. And the girl in the video mentioned him and basically said that for him, he has no pathway to citizenship. Like, for one, he's been in the country for like over 20 fucking years, which means that if you're to claim asylum, you have to leave the country for and wait 10 years and then come back, and that's obviously a deterrence. Um, but she also mentioned how he can't claim a work visa because he already works here. Like, why? How? I don't know. Maybe he could claim a work visa, but I guess I don't know. That's probably the most dubious of her claims regarding the immigration system. But the next one was that he can't immigrate here. He can't be sponsored by his U.S. citizen grandparents because they're not immediate family members, and that's part of her argument for why the system's broken. Is that basically she's saying it should be expanded. It's not broken in the sense that the U.S. healthcare system's broken, where you have rich people that lobby the government to prevent there from being a single payer system. Because if there is a single payer system in America, that would ultimately force every private insurer to lower their costs and increase their payouts because there would be competition. Why the fuck they would risk going out of business if they didn't have to dig into their bottom line and have to actually pay for surgeries and shit, stuff people need. If there was a single payer system, it's not like that. Regarding the immigration system, when people say the immigration system broken, they really just mean it should be expanded. More people should be allowed to come here than what are already allowed. Jose Varga, whatever his last name is, should be allowed to be sponsored by his grandparents. And they make the argument that it's just arbitrary rules in place regarding immigration, but it's not arbitrary. Our rules are there on purpose because if you allowed like outer family to sponsor you, bro, that would be the floodgates would go wide open and we would lose our country. We would lose our fucking country if because here's the truth, bro. Here's the truth. There's two types of countries. There are shitholes and there are desirable places to live. Shitholes include India, especially India, Pakistan to a lesser extent, Mexico, basically all of South America except for Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. All of Africa, like all of Africa, um, I don't think there's a single African country that's like considered Western. It used to be South Africa. South Africa used to be like a desirable place to live, but when they kicked the whites out, or when they took power from the white minority, and the whites began to flee because whenever whites don't have power and they are a minority, they ultimately end up getting persecuted, which happened in South Africa. So South Africa went from in also Zimbabwe, which used to be Rhodesia. And I'm obviously not trying to excuse the racism and that shit was bad, the apartheid and all that shit. But it is certainly true that once you kick the white people out, those countries went to shit. I'm not trying to derail onto that topic, but but yeah. So those are the shithole countries. The non-shithole countries, the desirable places are like America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, basically all of Western Europe. Those are the desirable countries to live in. And the thing is that white people, meaning people who live in desirable countries, because name one white country that's not desirable. You can't. You can't. Maybe you can say Russia, but that. I don't think that really counts. Russia's not even that super undesirable to live in. Not at all compared to fucking Mexico or Guatemala or whatever, where you got fucking politicians being lynched on the daily like it's no big deal. It's so bad down there. It's so bad down there. The Mexican politicians. I'm kind of diverging on it on another topic, but the fucking Mexican politicians in Mexico, they they are so corrupt, bro. And those who aren't corrupt, they just end up getting killed or assassinated. Like Claudia Scheinbaum, she made comments about how she's against Trump using military intervention and going down to Mexico. She was saying like, "Oh, that would violate our sovereignty and all that." And I'm like, dude, you're only saying that because you're in on the take, bro. Claudia Scheinbaum is so corrupt. Like, I know she got elected, like, "Oh, populism, oh, yeah, whatever." Dude, she definitely is on the take. She definitely gets a part of the she definitely gets she's in the pockets of the cartels 100%, and that's the reason she doesn't want the US military to go down to Mexico. But here's the truth, bro. The existence of Mexico, the existence of Guatemala, the existence of every South American country with the exception of Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay, the existence of those countries are a direct threat to the existence of the United States of America. So we need to send our military down there and take control of the governments of those countries because let's be real, Mexicans are incapable of self-governance. If they were, there wouldn't be poverty and crime in those countries because Mexico is absolutely run by gangs. Same with Honduras and etc. It's because they're not capable of self-governance. They're too susceptible to corruption. There's no infrastructure. When I say they're not capable of self-governance, I'm not trying to sound racist at all. I'm simply pointing out the fact that there's no infrastructure in those countries. If you are a politician that stands against corruption, you're going to get fucking assassinated. That's why we need the US military to go down there and basically issue martial law. We need to team up with Bukele in El Salvador, who I tremendously respect that guy. Bukele, he's a badass. We need to send our troops down to Mexico, down to Guatemala. That's the only way to prevent their fucking people from endlessly flooding our country. Because until that happens, they will endlessly flood our country, and that is building a wall is not a fucking solution. Like look at World War Z, when the zombies were trying to fucking cross the border wall. They crossed it because there ended up being way too many of them, and they eventually crossed it, and Jerusalem collapsed and fell. That's the simple reality. But okay, what was I talking about? Fuck, I'm kind of thirsty, but it's late, and I don't really want to drink because I'm gonna like have to go to the restroom at late at night and all that. I don't want to do that. I'm at 17 minutes. All right, I might end this video. But yeah, man, like, yeah, the immigration system is not broken. It's just people want people who are not people who are not American. Because let's be real. I'm gonna be real for a second. That girl in that TED Talk, whose like father was an immigrant from another country, she's not really an American. Like the immigrants and the children of immigrants aren't really Americans. They are simply, and that's why they don't really care about America. They don't care about our sovereignty, our culture, our heritage, our history. They don't care about that. They view America simply as an economic zone that you can just go to, like free market capitalism. That's what they view America as. Oh, you can just go to America and fucking get your bag, and and that's how all people view America. They don't give a fuck about our culture, our heritage. They don't give a fuck about the Battle of Gettysburg. The Battle of Shiloh. They don't give a fuck about that. They just want that money. So like when immigrant advocates, and dude, don't get me started on the fucking white liberals. Oh my god. We need to deport every white liberal. Like, I'm so serious about that. White liberals, like all those, like that one dude that punched that dude at that fucking ICE walkout in Chicago because the guy had a like I support ICE sign. That dude's a white liberal. Dude, oh my god, let's deport him. Like I don't want white liberals living in my country because they want. It's not when okay. The thing about white liberals is they want to help aliens, but not at their own expense. They want to help aliens at your expense. They want an alien to have free college, like DEI or whatever. They want an alien or a minority to have free college or to take a position in college away from a white person, but not at the expense of their own child's college. That's the thing with white liberals. God, I cannot fucking stand them. They want socialism, but they're not willing, or they want communism, but they're not willing to give up their own stuff. And that's the damn truth. Bernie Sanders is a fucking millionaire, and he's such a hypocrite. Because I would otherwise support Bernie Sanders, but he supports abortion. That's beside the point. But he is a millionaire. Like, dude, you're such a fucking hypocrite. Or Sam Cedar, that fucking wacko on the Minority Report, which I think the Minority Report, the name, they named themselves that on purpose because they wanted to kind of sound similar to the Majority Report, which is, I think, a movie or something. So whenever you say the Minority Report, people are like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that," inadvertently knowing that what the Minority Report isn't what they're thinking of. They're thinking of the Majority Report. But I'm sorry, I'm diverging on something. Let me go back to topic. Yeah, they white liberals like Sam Cedar. He talks about like, oh, we need to give African Americans, opportunities to go to college, and we need to. He's defending DEI, which DEI is fucking racist, and he's saying like, yeah, we need black people to take positions from white people in university enrollment. And one question I want to ask him is, oh, so if that meant taking one away from your son, let's say you had a son or daughter and they were trying to apply at college, would you support having them be denied in exchange for a black alien? Like, meaning a black person who is not your relative or somebody you know? Would you be in favor of that, Sam Cedar? And he probably wouldn't. And that's what the thing with like white liberals. They love advocating for the minority and all that, only until it comes at their own expense. They're like Sabrina Carpenter. How many, or Billie Eilish rather? She's like, oh, no one's illegal on stolen land. I'm like, bro, how many fucking people have you let into your mansion? What if I snuck onto your mansion? Would you have me kicked out? I think you would, and you're a bit hypocritical for doing that. God, I cannot stand these people. But okay, what was I? Why did I bring that up? Uh, I forgot why I brought that up. I'm trying to circle back to my original point I was trying to make. Okay, now I'm just gonna talk without really understanding what I was trying to talk about originally. But yeah, I mean, the immigration system is not broken. If we did not have immigration laws, if we just allowed anyone who wants to come to America, every single fucking person on earth would come to America, and we would have no nation. When immigrants come to America, they come to take your slice of the pie and my slice of the pie. Billionaires love immigrants. I love how the left, and there's a famous meme of a billionaire basically telling a Native American, like white American. When I say Native, I'm not referring to like the Cherokee. I'm referring to like George Washington. I'm referring to like the white Anglos who founded this country, not the barbarians who lived here before on this territory. But anyways, it's a billionaire telling a Native man, saying like, "Hey, man, look at that brown immigrant. He's here to take your cookie." Meanwhile, the billionaire has all the cookies, whereas the Native only has one cookie. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. The cartoon's making a point saying like, it's not the immigrant that you should be concerned about; it's the fucking rich person. And the two things can be true at the same time. Okay, yes, like immigration, the billionaire obviously has your cookie by not paying you a fair wage. He's obviously hoarding cookies, and that's bad. But also the immigrant, because there's infinite immigrants in America, in the world, infinite people in the shitty countries that want to. I mean, if every Indian was allowed to come to America, they would come to America. Why the fuck wouldn't you? India's a shithole, an absolute shithole. They shit in the streets. That same shit's gonna come to America. If we just let anyone in India who wants to come to India, or same with come to America from India, and same with Mexico and all the other countries. I'm going in circles right now, but okay, what was my original point? Fuck, dude, I don't know. But yeah, two things can be true at the same time. Billionaires can be bad. Immigrants can be bad. It's not that immigrants are bad people. It's just that I care about my own people before I care about an alien. That's just human nature. I'm sorry that's the way it is, bro. That's the way it is at the end of the day. It's kill or be killed, man. And I prioritize Americans above aliens. And I hate alienating other human beings, but the reality is, if we just open the floodgates, bro, everyone in America's standard of living would go down the shitter. And we would have no country because we would be overrun by the foreign hordes. Simple truth. So I'm in this video because my throat's getting dry.